Good morning to all of you. Good morning to all of you. Okay, so we start the lecture for today of electronic circuits. So in the last lecture, we have seen certain characteristics of the negative feedback, and where we have discussed the topic about the desensitivity, and we have come to the conclusion that when you apply the negative feedback to any amplifier, your gain would be reduced by the factor of 1 plus beta A. That is the desensitivity factor. So, but due to at the one end, if the gain is decreases, but your stability of the circuit would be increases. Now today, we would move to the next characteristics of negative feedback, that is frequency distortion, or you can say the decrease in the frequency distortion due to negative feedback. So in the negative feedback, when you apply the negative feedback, we have defined already the gain formula. AF is equal to A upon 1 plus beta A, and we know that in this case beta A is very much larger than the 1. So what happens? You can write AF is equivalent to 1 upon beta. Means your gain would be mostly depend upon the feedback element, feedback factor beta, that is made up of the passive elements, either resistor, capacitor, or inductor. Now, if you follow this equation, AF is equal to 1 upon beta. So, in this equation, what I have told you that your gain is solely depend upon the feedback factor, that is actually made up of passive elements. If feedback network does not contain any reactive element, in this passive elements, if only there is a resistive component, no any reactive component, means there is absentee of the capacitor and the inductor. So your overall gain would be not become a function of frequency. And under these circumstances, a substantial reduction in frequency and phase distortion would be obtained. So when you apply the feedback, negative feedback to the amplifier, and you are using only the resistive element in the feedback network, your overall gain would be decreased, but it would be not a function of frequency. And due to this feedback, a substantial decrease in the frequency and phase distortion would be obtained. But on the same end, do not put your attendance now. I would inform you when you have to be put up your attendance. So on the other hand, if you would be select a feedback network, that is a frequency selective feedback network, means there is a reactive components are present in the feedback network like capacitor and inductors. So what happens? Beta would be become a function of frequency, and the amplification would be now depend on the frequency. So in this case, your gain would be depending on the frequency, and your would be a significant decrease in the frequency distortion. Okay. So in this way, we have to come to the conclusion that when you apply the negative feedback, your frequency distortion would be decreased with respect to the amplifier which does not having any feedback network. Third kind of the characteristic is non-linear distortion. So we know that our amplifier is made up of the active devices like BJT, MOSFET, op-amp, whatever. So it would be having certain non-linear characteristics. And we have, till date, we have discussed about the small signal amplifier actually. Suppose that you have applied a large amplitude signal to an amplifier. So what happens? The operation of the device would be extended slightly beyond the range of its linear operation. And because of that, what happens? Your output signal would be slightly distorted. So here the word is mentioned beyond the range of linear operation. Do not confuse with this, that I have already told you that active devices having a non-linear property. Linear operation means what? All amplifiers should be perform a linear operation. Means whatever the signal, suppose you have applied the sinusoidal signal to the input of any amplifier, it should be produce the sinusoidal output. Maybe the maybe the amplitude of the signal would be large because there is some amplification obviously in the amplifier. But the shape of the signal should not be disturbed. If the shape of the output signal is same as the shape of the input signal, we say that it is performing the linear operation. And there is no any distortion. But what happens in this case, when you apply large amplitude signal, then due to the amplification factor would be also multiplied with your basic signal, input signal, and whatever the output signal would be generated are consequences of that, what this signal would be slightly distorted. And this distortion is basically the non-linear property of the active devices. Now we would be introduce the negative feedback on the same circuit. Then what happens? We know that the impact of negative feedback, the gain of the amplifier would be reduced. If the gain of the amplifier would be reduced, after applying the negative feedback, then what would we do? We would be try to increase the amplitude of the input signal by the same amount by which gain is reduced, so that the output signal amplitude remains same. To maintain the output signal level same, we would be increase the input signal level by the same amount by which the gain is reduced. And unknowingly, what happens? Due to the increase of the level of input signal, this signal would be converted from a small signal to the large signal. And due to this application of the large signal to the amplifier, the non-linear distortion would be introduced. So in the case of non-linear distortion, what happens? If you want to try to understand the concept of non-linear distortion, generally every amplifier would be operate on some operating frequency. Suppose you have applied the input signal that is having the frequency f. So as per the linear operation, the output signal would be also having maybe the larger amplitude, but the frequency would be the same. But if the output signal produced due to the application of some input signal, and it would be also show the output on integral multiple of this fundamental frequency or operating frequency. Means there is some non-linear distortion. Means what? Your output signal would be produce the output at fundamental frequency f, as well as it would be produce the integral multiple, means twice of f, as well as it would be produce the output as a 3 times of the f. So there is some amount of amplitude would be present. So this is actually the responsible for the nonlinear distortion. So if you would be see a little bit in a graphical manner, so you have to be draw the frequency spectrum, means you have to be draw the amplitude versus frequency graph, your Fourier transform. So you would be obtain the maximum amplitude at the operating frequency f, little bit smaller amplitude in the twice of f, in thrice of f more smaller amplitude, like this. As the integral multiple of frequency would be increases, amplitude would be decreases and decreases. But due to this nearby frequency amplitude twice of f, what happens? The ultimate effect of that, the output signal would be change its shape, or it would be some, you can say it is a, there is some distortion. So in all amplifiers, if there is a nonlinear distortion is present, the dominant component of the nonlinear distortion is the second harmonic distortion. Means the amplitude generated at the frequency twice of f. So this second harmonic distortion would be change the shape of the signal. It would be affect the operation of the amplifier. Now, by using the negative feedback concept, we would be decrease the amount of second harmonic distortion. So you can assume that in the absence of the negative feedback, the second harmonic distortion component present is equal to B2, and because of the effect of the negative feedback, a component B2F appears in the output. And to find out the relationship between the B2F and B2, the output would be, you can note it down, that output would be contain a term minus A beta B2F. What is the A here? It is the gain of the amplifier, and it is the second harmonic component after application of negative feedback, and beta is the feedback factor, because this A beta B2F would be passed through the feedback network, and finally we would be generate a feedback element as minus A beta B2F. It arises from the components minus beta B2F, that is fed back to the input. Thus, in this way, the output would be contain two components or two terms. First one is B2 generated in the transistor without feedback. Second, minus A beta B2F, which represent the effect of feedback. Now we would be establish the relationship between B2F and B2. So you can write the equation. B2 means second harmonic component without feedback minus A beta B2F is equal to B2F, second harmonic distortion component after applying the negative feedback. So B2F is equal to B2 upon 1 plus beta A, means B2 upon D sensitivity factor. So here the gain A and beta both are the function of the frequency, and both would be evaluated with the help of second harmonic frequency, and you would be see the overall effect of negative feedback in this case. Your second harmonic component after applying the negative feedback is decreased by the amount of 1 upon 1 plus beta A. So obviously the value of second harmonic component is less with feedback with respect to the second harmonic component without feedback. So B2F is smaller than the B2. So in this way, by the application of negative feedback, we have decreased the nonlinear distortion also. So in this way, we have seen, we have decreased the gain, we have decreased the frequency distortion, we have decreased the nonlinear distortion when you are applying the negative feedback. Now you can see the next topic, that effect of negative feedback on the bandwidth, or gain and bandwidth you can say, because gain and bandwidth both are associated with each other. So the overall gain with negative feedback is AF is equal to A upon 1 plus beta A, and if you would be approximate it, it would be become 1 upon beta. If the above condition, what is the condition? Beta A is very much larger than 1. This condition is satisfied, then you can say that gain with feedback is equivalent to 1 upon beta. So as long as this condition beta A is greater than 1 is satisfied, the overall gain is approximately 1 upon beta. But for the practical amplifiers, the open loop gain drops off at high frequency due to active device and circuit capacitance. So this point we have already discussed in the chapter 1. At the high frequency region, the gain would be dropped because of internal junction capacitance of the MOSFET. That is mentioned here, active device capacitances. And the other factors are the circuit capacitance, maybe wiring capacitance, maybe stray capacitance. And at the lower frequency region, gain would be also dropped because of coupling and bypass capacitors, or you can say the capacitively coupled amplifier stages, it would be decreases the gain at the low frequency region also. So once the open loop gain A drops low enough so that the factor A is no longer much larger than 1. So the conclusion of the above equation is what? AF is equivalent to 1 upon beta no longer holds true. This condition would be not valid now at the low frequency region as well as at the high frequency region, because the gain is dropped low enough. Lots of A is dropped significantly. So this relationship would be now not valid. So at that condition, you can see that your gain is substantially dropped at these two regions. But on the other hand, you can say that the bandwidth has been increased. That you can understood with the help of this graph. If you would see the figure 2.35, in this graph, I have shown the effect of negative feedback on the gain and bandwidth. Please draw this diagram. This is very important. So you can see here, there is a two cases I have shown here. In the first case, when you have not applied any feedback, at that moment the gain, and this is the graph between the gain versus frequency. So in the x-axis there is a frequency term, in the y-axis there is a gain term. So you can see the gain without feedback A is here, and it is the mid-band range of frequency where your gain is constant. That's why it is shown the flat structure is there. But as you move from mid-band range to the low frequency, this is the low frequency region. Low frequency region. This is your mid-band region. We have already discussed these terms in the first unit. And this is your high frequency region. Okay. So your gain would be remains constant at the mid-band range, but as you move in the low frequency region, your gain would be start to decrease. Similarly, as you move to the higher frequency region, again the gain would be start to decrease. And when your gain would be decreased by the 3 dB or 70.7% of the maximum gain, at that point, either in the low frequency region or in the high frequency region, we would be consider this frequency. At the low frequency region, this frequency at which your gain would be dropped nearly 71% or 70.7% of the maximum value. This is represented as the FL, lower cutoff frequency. And at the high frequency region, when you are at the frequency at which your gain would be decreased to the 70.7% of the maximum value, this frequency is called as the upper cutoff frequency or FH. So the difference between these two frequencies, FH minus FL, is represented as a bandwidth of the amplifier. So this is the first case when there is no feedback has been applied. Now we would be see the second case when we have applied the negative feedback to the same amplifier. Then what happens? So when you apply the negative feedback, your gain would be significantly dropped. This is your AF. Okay. And as the gain is dropped, your spectrum or your bandwidth would be also increased. How? You can see here the 3 dB less of this maximum value of the gain is obtained at the frequency F1F. So F1F, here F1F is less than F1. Similarly at the high frequency region, when your gain would be dropped 70.7% of the maximum value after applying the negative feedback, the frequency is, that is F2F, it is larger than the F2. Okay, so F1F is less than F1, F2F is greater than the F2, means what? Here the bandwidth is without feedback F2 minus F1, and bandwidth with feedback F2F minus F1F. So it is a simple mathematics. F2F is larger than F2 and F1F is less than F1, means the difference, or you can say the bandwidth, is more than as compared to the bandwidth without feedback. So in this way we can see that as the gain decreases but bandwidth would be increases. Okay. So there would be a term would be used in the literature, that gain bandwidth product, GBW. And gain bandwidth product for any amplifier would be remains constant. It is a constant term always. GBW. It would be remains constant for the same amplifier. Either you apply the feedback or not apply the feedback. So GBW or GBWF, it would be remains the constant. Means what? There is a two factor. One is the gain, another is the bandwidth. If gain would be increased, bandwidth would be decreased. If gain would be decreased, bandwidth would be increased. The same comparison is shown here. In the case when you have not applied the feedback, gain is more, that's why its bandwidth is less. And when you apply the feedback, gain is less but your bandwidth is more. But overall product is remains same or constant. Okay. So in this way we have seen that After applying the negative feedback, gain is decreases, but bandwidth would be increases. So this was the fourth characteristics of your negative feedback, improvement in the bandwidth. Now, so these are the four characteristics we have seen. Now the fifth characteristic, improvement in input resistance. This is the another characteristics of the negative feedback. So you can see the diagram. One of the diagram has been shown on the screen. That is a diagram of voltage series feedback circuit used to calculate the input resistance. So here we would be talk about the improvement in the input resistance. So this improvement means what? Either your input resistance could be increased or could be decreased depending upon the type of mixing we are doing. We have learned there are the four types of the negative feedback topologies: voltage series feedback, current series feedback, voltage shunt feedback, and current shunt feedback. So out of these four, two feedbacks having the series mixing and two feedbacks having the shunt mixing. So according to the type of mixing, your input resistance or input impedance of the amplifier would be affected. So all of you please draw this diagram. As per our syllabus, we have to be only discuss the voltage series and current series feedback amplifier. So we would be also restrict our discussion on these two. So in this case, if you have to be see within this black box, there is a component of the transistor based amplifier has been shown, means Ri input resistance of the amplifier. This is AVVI, this is the depending voltage source, and the R0 is the output resistance. And RL is the external component connected to the amplifier circuit at the output network. Similarly, the source voltage is also the external component, that is either you can provide it through the function generator or the signal generator. And there is a one element has been added to this input network, that is the feedback network. And the feedback voltage is shown here by the term Vf. So now, if you have to see, if the feedback signal is returned to the input in series with the applied voltage, if the feedback signal here, this is Vf, is returned in series with the applied voltage, is Vs, regardless of whether the feedback is obtained by sampling the output current or the voltage, it doesn't any mean that this feedback signal is Vf or If. But if this feedback signal is returned to the input in series with the applied voltage, it increases the input resistance. This is the conclusion that it would be increased input resistance. Either the current signal is fed back or either the voltage signal, it does not make any change. But the main factor is that how it is returning to the input. If it is returning in the terms of series with the applied voltage, then it would be increase the input resistance. Okay. Now I am going to activate your chat box. Please enter your attendance. It would be only on for the 5 minutes. And simultaneously you have to draw this diagram, because on based of this diagram we would be carry on the further discussion. Okay, I hope all of you have note down this diagram. So since in this particular diagram of voltage series feedback, VF, you can see the feedback signal VF opposes the applied voltage source voltage VS, because we have applied the negative feedback. So you can see that the polarity of these two signals, VF opposes the VS, and because of that the input current II is less than it would be if VF were absent. If VF would be not present in the circuit, so II is larger. So in this case, when you apply this feedback, what happens? Input current II is less or decreased. Hence, the resistance with feedback, as per the formula of resistance, as per the Ohm's law, R is the term V upon I. So here RIF means resistance after applying the feedback is equal to applied voltage Vs upon input current II. As II is lesser as compared to without feedback term, means overall effect of this on the RIF is that your input resistance with feedback would be greater than the input resistance without feedback, that is Ri. So here RIF would be become larger than the Ri. And at what factor it would be increased? It would be increased by the factor of Ri into 1 plus beta A, that is RID. So this is the resultant resistance after applying the feedback. So in this case, negative feedback, we have seen where the feedback signal is returned to the input in a series manner, and it would be increase the input resistance. Now the second case, if your feedback signal is returned to the input in a shunt or in parallel to the applied signal, it would be decrease the input resistance. The effect is what? When you would be return the feedback signal in shunt with respect to applied signal, your input resistance would be decreases. So it would be develop opposite effect as compared to the series return. So this is the diagram has shown to show this particular thought, that when you be return the signal in the shunt manner. So this is the diagram shown as the current shunt feedback. Okay. So in this particular diagram you can see the feedback signal is here IF, and that is returned to the source signal IS in parallel or in shunt manner. So because of that, what happens? You can see the effect. IS is here, the current at this node that would be distributed on the two part II and IF. So IS is a summation of II plus IF. Then IS drawn from the signal source is increased over what it would be if there was no feedback. Because of this IF, what happens? It would be add the value of IS. So the value of IS would be increased. So what is the value of RIF now? VI upon IS, source signal. And IS is larger in this case when you apply the feedback with respect to the case when you have not applied the feedback. So overall effect of this is what? It is in the denominator term. RIF is decreased because of the shunt mixing. So now the value of RIF is Ri upon 1 plus beta A or Ri upon D. So in this way we have seen that when you apply the negative feedback in series with respect to input signal, your input resistance would be increases. When you apply the feedback signal in shunt with respect to the input signal, it would be decreases the input resistance. Okay. So in the next lecture, we will be seeing the detail about the voltage series feedback, and we have to do some mathematical analysis also. So for today, I would be stop here to teach, but there is a 3 minutes remaining. So I want to take some questions from your side. If you have any query, please ask me. I will stop now. If you have any query, please ask related to the topic that we have learned today of general characteristics of the negative feedback.